Single-player games with electrifying combat and those stunning graphics are everyone's choice. And what if I tell you that in this video, you will be looking at those same over-the-top awesome 10 out of 10 games? Without further ado, let's start with our first pick, Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4 is like the blockbuster mic drop of adventure games. The grand finale that had fans glued to their screens like it was the last season of Game of Thrones, but way less controversial. The storyline is pure roller coaster that mixes Indiana Jones vibes with a family drama so real it could have been a Netflix original. Throughout the game, you will experience how the story is evolving towards an ultimate finale. It's as if every piece falls into the puzzle perfectly, and we get to see Nathan spending quality time with his family in the epilogue. Another important aspect of Uncharted 4 are the graphics. You could say that they are jaw-dropping enough to make your jaw hit the floor faster than a Fortnite dance craze. The mechanics and gameplay flow smoother than butter on a warm biscuit, with combat that's as tight and satisfying as a perfectly executed heist. The visuals and scenery take you on a virtual vacation from jungles to ruins that look like they jumped straight out of a movie set. Cinematic cutscenes are so immersive, you'll swear you're watching a summer blockbuster. Let's just say Uncharted 4 got more fans than a Taylor Swift concert. Simply put, this final installment wrapped up the series with a bang, setting the gold standard for narrative-driven action games.
Yep, son of a bitch.
You good? Yeah.
Hi-Fi Rush.
Anyone see the guy that did this? That's the defect!
Hi-Fi Rush is like the love child of a hack-and-slash brawler and a rhythm game, with a soundtrack so good it might just make you forget you're furiously button mashing. The music isn't just background noise, it's the heartbeat of the entire game, syncing perfectly with every combo, dodge, and epic boss fight. Speaking of bosses, these fights are less rubber band enemy and more bring your A game or get wrecked. Think Devil May Cry meets Dance Dance Revolution. The storyline keeps you hooked without getting in the way of the action, like a good Spotify playlist that knows exactly when to drop the beat. Visually, the game's got that slick, cel-shaded style reminiscent of a graphic novel come to life, with characters and scenery that pop harder than a 90s cartoon. Combat feels tight and responsive. Every hit lands with satisfying impact, making you feel like a true rhythm warrior. No wonder Hi-Fi Rush has been blasting through the gaming community faster than a viral TikTok dance challenge. Honestly, this is one of those underrated games that still hasn't gotten a lot of recognition. In my opinion, Hi-Fi Rush is the kind of game you could play after a long, hard day at work.
Let's rock, big boy.
Marvel's Spider-Man 2018. This was the game that kind of rebooted the Spider-Man games and gave us that slick, awesome, modern gameplay. 2018's version is one of my favorite Spider-Man games because it felt like a complete makeover of the OG Spider-Man. If we talk about the storyline, then it's basically Peter Parker juggling his life like a pro circus act, being Spider-Man, dealing with drama, and trying not to totally wreck Aunt May's house. It's got that classic, with great power comes great responsibility vibe, but with enough twists to keep even MJ on her toes. Graphics-wise, it's like they took New York City and put it through a hyper-real Instagram filter. Every skyscraper, subway, and puddle looks so good, you'll want to stop swinging just to admire the view. The mechanics and gameplay are smooth as Spidey's silk. Web slinging feels like flying, wall crawling is as natural as breathing. And the combat? Let's just say Spidey's punches hit harder than a meme going viral. You've got so many cool gadgets and weapons, it all feels like you are carrying a whole arsenal. Another cool aspect is that we have gotten some of the OG villains back. This is a good thing because fans like us who have been following Spider-Man for years can experience that sense of nostalgia. Moving on, the suits? From the classic red and blue to the techie advanced suit with that glowing spider, it's basically cosplay heaven. Ultimately, this game caught fire faster than Spidey's webs on a windy day, proving that if you build an amazing Spider-Man playground with heart, style, and some seriously sick visuals, the fans will come swinging back for more. Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima is like the samurai's version of a mic drop, a visually stunning open-world game that slices through expectations with precision. This game is literally what can be called as a samurai open-world masterpiece. Graphics and scenery are so gorgeous, you will find yourself pausing just to admire the wind blowing through the grass. Basically, the game's way of saying, "Take a breath, warrior." By now, I'm sure as hell that most of us have already played this game many times, and even the DLC. which to be honest is a complete smack on the face. Diving into a whole new story on a brand new island is not something we had in mind. Speaking of combat mechanics, they are tight and satisfying. Every clash feels like an epic duel straight out of a Kurosawa film. Different stances, ghost weapons, duels, standoffs, and the whole stealth aspect. It's all wrapped up nicely to give the players an ultimate ninja feeling. No wonder it's got a cult following bigger than a sumo wrestler's appetite. Samurai, stealth, and stunning visuals, this game's got it all.
I will miss this.
So will I. The Shogun has declared you a traitor.
He ordered you to kill me.
Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs is like the parkour-loving cousin of classic open-world games, combining an interesting storyline with side quests that keep you hooked like a binge-worthy series on Netflix. The best thing is the combat, the parkour movements, the storyline, and the freedom to explore the entire city. Combat here isn't just button mashing. It's a satisfying mix of kung fu moves and environmental takedowns that feel straight out of a Jackie Chan flick. The characters are as memorable as any movie cast, and the gameplay mechanics strike the perfect balance between realism and arcade fun. Whether you're chasing a bad guy over rooftops or just soaking in the scenery with a midnight car chase, Sleeping Dogs manages to keep its popularity alive by making every moment feel like your own action movie highlight reel. Honestly, this is one of those games that highly deserves a sequel, and I don't know when it's going to happen, but I truly want to experience Sleeping Dogs 2 someday. It's sure one of the most action-packed open-world games. Elden Ring.
I am Melania, Blade of Mikola.
Elden Ring isn't just another Souls game. It's the Dark Souls series' big open-world cousin who shows up to the family reunion with a whole new wardrobe and a killer soundtrack. From its impressive visuals and mysterious landscapes to the punishing combat that feels like you are in whole new From Software universe with a new weapon or a boss hidden in every corner, Elden Ring delivers the full package. If we talk about the lore factor, then it's highly interesting, lots of characters are linked to each other, then you have multiple endings to choose, each impacting the world around you. And moving on, the gameplay mechanics strike a perfect balance between satisfying difficulty and rewarding exploration, with cinematic cutscenes that sneak in just enough narrative to keep you hooked without slowing down the action. It's all so crazy to experience, you will never realize that you are playing the same old Dark Souls type game. Elden Ring is a whole new adventure filled with outstanding content, whether it's the boss battles, the story, the areas, the weapons, or even the fighting mechanics. It's no wonder the game has soared in popularity, captivating both Souls veterans and newcomers alike. Days Gone. Days Gone throws you into a post-apocalyptic open world that's as wild and unpredictable as your last zombie survival nightmare. With a storyline that hooks you like the latest binge-worthy Netflix series, it's got characters you actually care about. No cardboard cutouts here. The combat? Think Mad Max meets The Walking Dead, with your trusty bike as your best friend and sometimes your worst enemy when it breaks down in the middle of a horde. The game's mechanics balance stealth and full-throttle mayhem, and the visuals are gorgeous enough to make you forget you're fending off freakers at sunset. Racing through the rain-soaked woods while being chased by a freaker swarm so dense it feels like you've stepped into a horror movie scene. With graphics that punch above their weight and gameplay that keeps you on your toes, Days Gone earned its popularity by mixing heart-pounding action with a surprisingly emotional ride. It's a wild ride. Hold on tight and don't forget your helmet. Let's hope that in the next few years we will get a sequel, because believe it or not, Days Gone was not your typical open-world zombie. It actually had emotions. The bike is one of my favorite aspects because who doesn't love to feel like an actual badass riding his bike in the middle of zombie apocalypse? Plague Tale series.
We didn't mean to trespass. We fell here by accident. We'll leave if you show us how.
Lies!
I swear. I don't know what's happening here, but we have nothing to do with it.
Lies! You bloody thieves! I'll cut you to pieces!
The Plague Tale series is like a dark fairy tale that's equal parts heartbreaking and hold my controller intense. With a storyline that pulls you into a medieval world plagued by rats, disease, and desperate survival, It's got the emotional weight of a Shakespeare tragedy, but without the boring speeches. The graphics and visuals are stunning. So detailed you half expect to smell the damp stone walls and hear the rats scurrying in real life. Gameplay strikes a perfect balance between stealth, puzzle solving, and the occasional tense combat that'll have you clutching your mouse like it's the last cookie in the jar. Characters like Emitia and Hugo are so well written, you actually care about their fate, making the story hit harder than a surprise rat swarm. And speaking of rats, those moments when you're sprinting through a horde while holding your breath? Pure adrenaline. The game's atmosphere nails that running from the plague vibe better than most horror flicks, which explains its cult following and why players keep coming back for more. If you're into stories where the visuals, gameplay, and heart come together like peanut butter and jelly, Plague Tale is a must-play. However, trust me, it's not for everyone. The game will feel highly slow-paced for those who are mostly into action-packed titles. But that whole linear and slow-pace element is what makes Plague Tale so much better, because that's that way it's meant to be played.
Mummy won't be happy when she finds out I fell in the water.
Sekiro.
Been a while since we did this. Give me your all.
Sekiro is one of my top-down favorite From Software games. I'm a huge fan of Ninja Shinobi games, and when someone like me gets his wish fulfilled by getting a chance to play a full-fledged Shinobi experience, and that too is created by none other than From Software, then there's no way I'm missing out on the golden opportunity. It's one of those games that I wish everyone should play if they are a fan of difficult games or just wants to try out something else than typical Dark Souls stuff. Sekiro is the samurai's answer to Get Gut culture on steroids. The graphics are super impressive that will make you pause your parry and just stare at the cherry blossoms. Each area is filled with quality and distinct visuals. And don't even get me started on the Fountainhead Palace. That area is as beautiful as deadly. I'm 100% sure that you will fall in love with the game after you experience all the different types of areas and boss battles. Speaking of bosses, the gameplay and combat mechanics, think fast, think precise. This isn't button mashing. It's an art form that'll have you sweating like you're in a boss fight against a dragon. Weapons and tools feel like an extension of your own limbs, and every clash keeps you on the edge, proving why Sekiro carved its own throne next to the Souls games' giants. If Souls games are the heavyweight champs, Sekiro's the lightning-fast ninja with a killer right hook. In my opinion, Sekiro and Bloodborne are the most difficult From Software titles because even in the newest title, Elden Ring, you can level up or acquire a strong build, but in Sekiro and Bloodborne, it's all about your skills and expertise. Dragon's Dogma. Dragon's Dogma is like the love child of a high fantasy novel and an epic boss rush meme fest. From massive, stunning monsters that look like they jumped straight out of a nightmare to the kind of bosses that make you question your life choices. Yes, I'm talking about the Griffins and Cyclops. This game knows how to keep your adrenaline pumping. The open world feels alive with visually amazing scenery that's as stunning as it is dangerous. Think Skyrim meets Dark Souls, but with a dash of, I did not sign up for this moments. Weapons range from colossal greatswords that would make Cloud Strife jealous, to nimble bows perfect for sniping harpies mid-flight. The combat mechanics strike a great balance between tactical depth and hack-and-slash satisfaction, letting you climb monsters like a pro wrestler tackling a giant, which is pure chef's kiss gameplay. Add in DLC that expands the lore and challenges, and you've got a storyline that hooks you without drowning you in exposition. The characters, from your loyal pawn companions to the NPCs with their own quirky personalities, round out an immersive experience that's both visually stunning and brutally fun. No wonder it's a cult classic. Dragon's Dogma doesn't just ask you to fight monsters, it dares you to become a legend. Honestly, we do have gotten a sequel, but I recommend you guys to first play the original, and maybe even add a mod file to tweak out the textures and visuals, because I know for real that the OG Dragon's Dogma is what started it all, and can also be called as the same level of granddaddy of RPG games like Skyrim or Gothic. Resident Evil 4 Remake. Perhaps the best remake of all time. The fourth part is considered as one of the most action-packed Resident Evil games. This was the game when the creators shifted to something else besides the usual sneaking and survival element. Here, the developers gave the players complete freedom to go all out guns blazing and obliterate whoever comes in their way. Also, speaking of characters, we have got our favorite awesome-looking cool dude back, Leon, with his OG one-liners. And then there's Ashley. And the good thing is that this time she's much more bearable. She's not that annoying brat anymore. In the remake, she somehow proves to be useful and doesn't feel like baggage. All in all, Resident Evil 4 Remake is definitely one of the greatest remakes of the series, and you're truly missing out on a lot if you have never played this game. Regardless of if you are a fan of the series or not, the fourth part can be played by anyone, even if they are newcomers. We have got a fresh story, a fresh environment, and fresh characters. So, no, you don't need to actually play the older parts to understand what's going on in the story. Finally, let us know your thoughts on the remake, and tell us in the comments what other Resident Evil game we should get a remake of. Devil May Cry.
Wow. That was a long time ago.
I guess you were young once too.
DMC 5 is like the Rockstar sequel that dropped the mic and then danced on it. The storyline? Think family drama meets supernatural chaos. Dante and Virgil's sibling rivalry levels turned all the way up to 11. If Shakespeare wrote action games, this would be his magnum opus, or at least a wild Netflix series. Graphics? Next level eye candy. It's so stunning, you might forget you're actually slaying demons and not just wandering through an art gallery curated by the actual demon gods. The visuals and scenery hit harder than a double espresso shot at 7 a.m. Talk about gameplay and mechanics, smooth as butter sliding down a rail. Combat feels like a perfectly choreographed dance-off where every combo and dodge is a move to flex on your enemies. Whether you're slicing with Dante's Rebellion sword, blasting with Nero's robotic arm, or unleashing Virgil's deadly precision, the game's combat is more satisfying than popping bubble wrap. Characters? Each one's got personality for days. Dante's cocky swagger, Virgil's icy cool, Nero's underdog grind. Boss fights? Epic showdowns that make you sweat and shout just one more try until 3 a.m. Weapons? A Swiss Army knife of demon-slaying toys that would make MacGyver jealous. Speaking of popularity, it's the Beyoncé of hack-and-slash games, loved by fans old and new. Devil May Cry 5 is not just a game, it's a full-on demon-blasting, combo-crushing, and an intense experience that keeps players coming back for more. Low-key, I even let my 12-year-old kid brother experience that game, and even he loved it.
Wow, this thing got real big. You trying to compensate for something?
Yes. Your incompetence.
By the way, how'd it feel catching up with your kid?
Dishonored. Dishonored feels like stepping into a dark, steampunk fairy tale, where every shadow hides a secret, and every choice echoes through the city's twisted alleys. The game's mechanics are so smooth, it's like watching a master thief dance through a laser maze, whether you're sneaking past guards or unleashing supernatural chaos. And those visuals? The grimy, rain-soaked streets of Dunwall are so detailed, you half expect to smell the smoke and salt air. Combat mixes stealth and chaos like a perfectly brewed cocktail. One moment you're ghosting by unnoticed, the next you're raining hell with blink powers and rat swarms. The in-game moments, like the heart-wrenching choice to save or sacrifice, keep players debating long after the credits roll. No wonder Dishonored still holds a cult following, proving that great gameplay and storytelling never go out of style. I'm not sure who here would love to try out this game in 2025, but hey, if you like what you see here and wants to experience something underrated, then by all means, get your hands on Dishonored. And by the way, there's also a sequel as well. Before I reveal my final pick, here are some bonus 10 out of 10 games. Witcher 3. Everyone knows that this is the OG 10 perfect RPG game. There's no need to dive deeper into what makes Witcher 3 the greatest. Sure, there are players who have different opinions, but to the ones who have completed the game, we all know how impressive the story of Geralt of Rivia is.
Waited until you found me, but you know me. Patience has never been my strong suit.
Skyrim. What is there to say about this game? Skyrim is what you could say what started it all. Even your middle-aged uncle would have played this game in his teenage days. And in 2025, the game never looked better with all the mods and tweaks. Max Payne. What can I say? It's the OG detective of our teenage times. That bullet mechanic has never looked so cool in any other game. Max Payne holds the record for introducing something totally new, without the feeling of boredom or repetitive content. I'm sure most of us have replayed this game many times, and if not, then this is your cue to play it once again to relive your childhood.
Vince Mugnano.
Infamous Second Son. One of the best games with unique powers. The karma system and the variety of powers is what's holding Second Son together. If you own a PS4, then this game should be your first pick along with Bloodborne. Last of Us Remake.
How the hell would he even walk around with that thing?
Get rid of that.
Look, hold your horses. I want to see what all the fuss is about. Oh, why are these all stuck together?
Here, we are only talking about the first part. The Last of Us Part 1 Remake is basically the glow-up we all needed, like your favorite vintage band hitting the studio for a fresh remix. The storyline still hits harder than a plot twist in a Netflix binge, serving all the heart-wrenching, post-apocalyptic feels that made us ugly cry the first time. Graphics, impressive enough to make you forget you're playing a game and not starring in a blockbuster. Think photorealism on steroids. The mechanics and gameplay have been buffed smoother than your favorite TikTok transition, with every stealth move and gunfight feeling as tight as Ellie's signature switchblade. Speaking of Ellie, she's still the ultimate don't mess with me icon. Agile, fierce, and packed with more personality than a meme page on fire. The characters and their interactions hit all the right notes, like an emotional playlist you can't skip. Meanwhile, the scenery is so immersive, you'll half expect to catch a clicker lurking around the corner or smell the rain on a crumbling street. Let's just say it's the gaming equivalent of a chart-topping single, beloved by OG fans and new players alike, proving that some classics only get better with age. Yes, I know that some of us prefer the sequel too, but for me, nothing beats the classic first part where you are two badass people kind of like a father-daughter duo exploring the apocalyptic Badlands and are just trying to survive.
Let's go. Watch my back.
Finally, this sums up the list of some of the 10 out of 10 games that you must play. I know that there are some titles that I have missed, but we all know that the list would have been too long. Therefore, like the video and comment down if you want a second part with more impressive 10 out of 10 gaming titles worth dying for.